taxes on businesses are so high that when there is a little bit of extra money in, it doesn't go and get redistributed towards the employees. It generally gets to the CEO, the director, and that's that. Now, the problem is there's a lot of youth coming in to companies nowadays, and all of the youth have been told all that you need to do to get a good salary is you need to get an education. And they've done that. They've put the effort in. They've gone to colleges. Some of them have paid their way themselves. And now they've come into the workforce with these degrees, which means they're more qualified than those 40 years old, those that are in the 40 to 50 year bracket, but not as much experience. I'm not going to say they have much experience, but they have the degree to potentially take it a step further than what those people were able to. But now the rental rate is so high that the salaries that people are earning now does not even cover the rent that people are paying. So if you bought a house back then and you're paying a bond off, you're probably going to be somewhat okay. But if you have to rent now, or if you have to try buy a house now, you're looking at a 3 to 4 bedroom house being 1.5 to about 2 million on the same salary range that people have been earning for the past how long. You are not able to buy a house and buy a car and rent and pay all the things that you would need to pay in order to sustain yourself. So you find a lot of young guys are coming in and they're expecting higher salaries, and the guys at the top, the CEOs are like, hey, listen, when I was your age, I was earning 500 Rand and I was happy with that. Why are you guys not happy with earning the salaries that you are earning? And the youngsters are saying, listen, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, you could earn 500 Rand. And with that 500 Rand, you could buy a car, pay for a car, buy a house, pay for the house. You could literally live with an entire family on that, what I would say is a minimum wage, and pay for all your necessities without having a problem. So that's not what's happening anymore. People cannot earn that potential. They are not getting to the point where their minimum wage is actually minimum enough to cover all their expenses. So what I'm going to say now is, when the youngsters are looking at salaries, when they're choosing careers, they often look at pay scales to determine how much they are going to earn. And let me just say that pay scale lies. They do not give you the accurate amount that people are earning within those fields. If you go and look at pay scale, just the average person, and go look at what they recommend you should be earning with your experience and with your qualifications, it is extremely overinflated. Most people are not earning that. So this is a problem because it's extremely inaccurate. It's giving people ideas that when you get into companies, you're just going to earn this amount. It's not happening like that. People that have been there for 20 years are not earning that amount. But why is this a problem? So the government is getting all this tax from businesses that is just staying with them. The top 2%, the politicians, are getting all this money. Businesses pay taxes at hefty prices only for it to be hoarded by politicians. My question is, why don't the government drop the tax rates that companies are paying on the incentive that the companies have to increase the salaries of people that are earning between 10,000 to 25,000. The lower to middle, I would say not even the extremely low, the middle to low, you create a minimum wage where people in that bracket, because those are the people that are truly battling to actually put things behind, are being paid more. Why would the government do that? Well, less people are going to be dependent on the government in retirement then, which is something that we're seeing across the board. Everyone needs government money. Everyone needs a grant. People will be less dependent on grant money. Dropping the tax would also mean that the people that are being paid more would have to go into higher tax brackets. So they will be still paying taxes, but the people will be afforded the opportunity to pay off their cars, buy houses, do the things that they need to do. It doesn't help that we have a poor country. It doesn't help that we have poor people. So why is the government taking the money and hoarding it? That's my question. Why are they not incentivizing businesses to pay their lower employees more money by reducing the company's taxes? which is something that they could really, really do. It might be uncomfortable for the first year for the businesses, especially if you're like a small business owner. But what I would say is all that you would need to do is probably take that first year, talk to your employees. If you really cannot afford the increases, just explain to them that potentially they would get a 13th and a 14th check, and you'll relook at it the following year. That would already make things a lot easier. That 14th check can be a down payment on a car, potentially a down payment on a house. It could be paying off credit card debt, which we all know our country is very well known for. It could go towards a lot of things. So why is this not happening? I don't understand. It's because the government wants to hoard all the funding, obviously, and this is not the business person's fault. The businessmen are only going to be giving what they get, and they are getting no assistance from the government and no help. So why are they incentivized to pay us better salaries? They aren't. They just aren't. So why would they? If you know anything about economics, you will have heard of the trickle-down system, and that is virtually my wealthy man model. It is giving the wealthy more money and able to ensure that the lower to medium class get a trickle-down effect of that money. The problem is it's being hoarded by politicians, not businessmen, firstly, although businessmen are obviously hoarding it a little bit as well. I'm not going to defend them completely. But it's been happening for so long that the floodgates need to open. It cannot be a trickle, it cannot be a drop in a bucket for a prolonged period of time. This will be an opening for people to really honestly, openly discuss salaries with their employers and come up with a plan. So what I would do if I was an employer is probably look at the salaries that are currently being earned, try and make sure that you round everybody up to round numbers. So what I mean by that, if your employee is currently earning about 8,000, 9,000, put them on 10. If they're earning 11 or 12, put them on 15. If they're earning 16 or 17, put them on 20. And if they're earning 20 to 21, put them on 25. Obviously, over 25 to the 30, I would say, I don't want to say people will defend for themselves, but that means you're probably, if you're in a two-income household and you're both earning 25,000, you're already in probably the top 15% of earners, top 10% of earners within the country. You are probably doing a lot better than those who are in the lower brackets. However, the lower brackets are really struggling. So what is being done about that? And the answer is absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's not the business's fault. It's the politician's fault. And I'm about to say this, the politicians are black. So every news media company that comes out and says, white people are hoarding the money, it's because of apartheid. No, black government officials are hoarding the money, and it's not because of apartheid, it's because everybody's giving them an out. Nobody's creating a responsible and accountable environment with transparency where when a government official does something dodgy, when a government official steals billions and billions and billions, there is no accountability because they're black, and shame, apartheid. And the whole Black Lives Matter movement in America trickles down to us, even though they're the majority and we're the minority here in South Africa. And that just means that it's a get out of free for jail card. There's no consequences whatsoever. And the people that actually suffer are the low people who have been promised RDP housing, who have been given all these false promises that don't get anything. And then your lower to middle income workers who are not even earning a lower to middle income salary. Those salaries do not stretch far enough to do anything. The more people that you get that are able to buy their own houses without being dependent on RDP housing, the better. The more people that you get that are able to pay off their retirement annuities by themselves without the assistance of government, the better. The more jobs you're creating to pay for these people, the better. Everyone needs to be off the government's salary because the government does not know how to provide for the country. They only know how to provide for themselves. And this is a good way to do that. Just consider it. Thanks for watching.